guys, it's Sam and I have reached 5,000 subscribers. You guys are so amazing and I'm still in shock. I know I say this every time that a big marker of subscribers and stuff comes up and I make a video about it, but thank you guys so much. I'm so blown away by your support and for how many people that I've met and how many new friends I have and how many people comment on my videos. I love all your comments. I love all the discussions that we've had recently on videos. I just recently posted the Grisha trilogy video and that was awesome. The responses I got were so great. My recent wrap-up I had tons of responses to, so thank you guys so much for commenting, tweeting me, interacting, everything that I say every single time I make one of these, but thank you so much. I'm constantly blown away by your guys' support and I just really didn't think that I would be here January of 2015. I thought that maybe I would get 1,000 subscribers by like this summer. That was the plan that I went into when I first started a booktube channel. I was like, it'll take me forever to even get noticed, and I know I say this every time for those of you that have been around for a while, but like, honestly, I'm just so blown away. I'm always speechless when I do these videos. I always am stumbling over my words because I just don't know what to say, and I'm so in shock and so thankful and so grateful to all of you. You guys are so amazing. Thank you so much. So I know I said in my last video for 4,000 subscribers that I was planning a giveaway for 5,000, and that is true, but I don't have the books yet because I'm going to a book signing the end of the month. So a giveaway is coming with signed books, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did for 1,000 subscribers. For those of you that have been around for a while, I'm going to give away however many signed books that are USA and maybe even Canada included in there. I'm going to have to look at shipping rates, and then I'm going to do international giveaways for books from Book Depository and everything because international shipping is just crazy and I couldn't do that for so many books. But I'll talk about that more when I actually have the books, but that'll be probably sometime early in March for my 5,000 subscriber giveaway. So as a thank you to you guys, and because you guys asked for it on the Q&A last time, I'm actually going to be doing a video on tips for new booktubers. You guys really liked the tips that I had on my Q&A and you asked for even more, and I thought this was a perfect way to kind of say thank you and give back to you guys for those of you that are interested in starting a channel or who just started a channel. So before we get started with the tips, I just want to say I do not think that I'm a booktube expert by any means. I don't think that I am the end-all be-all. This is just what worked for me. This is kind of the research that I did and what I got before I started a channel and what I've learned since starting a channel and just things that worked for me, and they may not work for you, or you may not agree with them, or whatever, and that's fine, and I'm not the expert, but these are just things that have worked for me in my experience. So the first few tips are just about getting started. What do you do when you decide that you want to start a channel? And just simply start one. It's really that easy, honestly. You just think of a name, think of something creative, think of something that you feel like works the best because you're going to be stuck with it for the rest of the time of your channel. So you're going to be using that for social media, your channel, any kind of graphics. Make sure that's something that you like. My channel name is Thoughts on Tomes, tomes being another word for books, usually big books, but books in general, and I thought that was perfect. I liked the way it flowed, and I went with it. And then once you start deciding you want a channel, I recommend setting up all of your social media before you even do anything on your channel. Get a Twitter if you feel like you want one. I originally didn't want a Twitter. I was like, oh, Twitter's stupid. Why would I want a Twitter? I love it now. I don't have a Twitter for my personal life or anything. I don't have any kind of social media with Twitter or anything for just normal tweets, I guess. But I love it for booktube and book bloggers and book everything and talking to people within the book community because that's how a lot of conversations happen, honestly. It's just tweeting and getting to know people through Twitter, and it's so useful for your channel and making friends in the book world. So set up a Twitter, set up an Instagram if you feel like it, set up a Tumblr if you feel like it. I already had a Tumblr before, but I set up a book one. If you want to do Facebook, do that. I didn't do Facebook because I don't like Facebook, but if you like Facebook and you're on it a lot, I would recommend doing a Facebook. Just whatever kind of social media that you want to set it up now along with your channel. And what I recommend is kind of coordinating everything art-wise, so make sure that you have a picture that's kind of the same for each one. So like your little avatar or whatever, make sure it's kind of uniform for now. You can change it later, but that way people kind of know that they're all connected. That's what I like doing, so that you kind of know that these are all for the same account. And then kind of having the same kind of look throughout with your graphics and stuff. I use a certain kind of font that I like just because I like that kind of font, and that's kind of been the font that I use for my graphics for everything, for thumbnails, for my banner, for Twitter banner, for like all that kind of thing. So I really like that kind of aesthetic to kind of pull everything together just because it's not a business, it's not like a brand, but it kind of is. You're kind of pulling everything together around your name and your channel name. So I think it's easiest to kind of do all that right now at the get-go. I touched on this very briefly, but get to know kind of how to do thumbnails. And that'll come from when you start actually making videos, but watch tutorials on how to make thumbnails. Thumbnails are really easy to kind of change and tweak, and I think they're a really good way to kind of pull your channel together and make it look very professional. Again, changing your thumbnail isn't something everybody does. There is an option on YouTube when you upload a video, it'll pick like 3 thumbnails, but YouTube kind of has a tendency to pick the craziest thumbnails. Usually it's a face where you're like, that's like the thumbnail they'll pick. It's not cute. So make sure that you take some pictures of yourself smiling, posing with books, whatever, and then you can use those to make a really cute thumbnail. And again, make it look professional. Choose a font that looks professional that you can read. Don't use Comic Sans. I think we've all realized that Comic Sans is not the font to use on things. If you love Comic Sans and you're watching this, I'm sorry. But I think we've all agreed that professionally and like just aesthetically pleasing, the Comic Sans is not it. A lot of people recommend using just a nice, simple font because a lot of times someone will find a font aesthetically pleasing that's like crazy and whatever, but not everyone else will, and it will put people off. Font puts people off. I just did a rant about Comic Sans. I mean, font obviously is a big deal. So choose a font for your titles and stuff on your thumbnails that looks professional, is clean, easy to read, that kind of thing. And what I use to edit all my thumbnails is PicMonkey.com. PicMonkey.com is free. They're not sponsoring me or anything. I just didn't want to go out and buy Photoshop. So I use PicMonkey. Super easy. There are a ton of tutorials online on how to use PicMonkey for thumbnails, so definitely just go Google it, go search on YouTube, you can definitely find some. The next thing is lighting. Everyone recommends, and I myself recommend as well, just using natural lighting for the first few videos. I didn't continue to use natural lighting because I'm a night owl and I film exclusively at night these days. So when I was using natural lighting at my window over here that's right there, it was during the afternoon at like 1 to 2, and that's just not when I am my most productive. And the morning, forget about it. So I actually end up buying some different lights pretty quickly into the whole process. I don't have anything professional. It's my overhead light and a little like standing lamp, one of those lamps that's like the standing ones that has another separate lamp. It looks like this. This is very... It's not helpful, is it? I'm sorry. But in those, I end up putting really bright daylight bulbs. This is, again, something that you can just Google and people will tell you, like, really cheap lighting. This is what I use. I really like it. You just want it to have, like, a bluer cast because that makes the colors shine true. If you get a light that's like the normal fluorescent bulb, I don't know what they're called, the normal lights that are kind of like the yellowy, that's not going to look really good on camera. So definitely check out some of the daylight bulbs. Those are the ones that'll make sure that on camera all the colors kind of ring true and you're not looking all kind of like weird and yellow. Lastly is the camera. This, people vary on their opinions on it. Some people use their webcams still and are really popular, and that's totally fine. I know a lot of vloggers and even some booktubers use their cell phones. Cell phones have gotten to the point where you can do like anything on them and you can record videos in HD on your cell phone, on like iPhones and stuff. I know Witty Novels, I think, uses her phone. I'm sure other people do too. She's just one that's popping into my head right now. So if all you have is a nicer cell phone, use your cell phone. If all you have is a webcam, I would recommend making sure you have webcam that like doesn't make you look all grainy and stuff. And if you're going to use a webcam, use it in a room that's well lit, because the worst thing to see is somebody trying to make a video and you can barely see them because it's just grainy and dark and the sound is really bad. But if your webcam is really nice, like I know Macs I think have pretty good webcams, that's awesome. I for a long time used a Canon PowerShot camera, like a little one. I don't know where it is right now, but it's just a little point and shoots. I used that for a long time when I first started filming, and that's great. I didn't even have a tripod or anything. I just set it on a bunch of like makeup shelves and put it in front of my face, and that's how I did it. So you don't need to buy anything big and expensive. About 4 months into my channel, I ended up buying a nicer camera, but it was my birthday. I split it with my boyfriend, and I put it on a Best Buy credit card that I already had so I could make payments on it. That is something that I can do as an individual with a full-time job, and just that ability, and I know not everyone has that ability to do that. So if that doesn't work for you, you don't need to do that. I just happened to do it because at that point I knew that I was going to be on my channel for a long time. I knew I loved it and I wanted to invest some money in it. So that's my biggest recommendation. Don't go out and buy a new camera that you're never going to use for something that you might not stay with, because the reality is not everyone that makes a channel stays with it. So make sure that you're on it for 3 months, maybe more, depending on how you know yourself better than I do. So make sure you're going to stick with it, and then if you want to invest money in it, that's great. For those of you that are wondering, I use a Canon SX50HS, and this is just a Canon PowerShot. It's kind of like the middle of the line between like a point and shoot and a DSLR. I didn't buy a DSLR for myself at this point in time because I felt that was too expensive for me for just filming videos. If I was shooting pictures, if I did photography, then I would probably get a DSLR, and I might in the future because photography is a hobby I do want to get into. But this little guy is really good for kind of transitioning to that. So if I decide I want to get in photography and use this guy for a little while and then switch to that one, that makes sense to me. So basically that little ramble was just don't invest too much money in it if you don't have to, if you don't have the financial means to. Plenty of people all across the board, of bigger YouTubers to smaller to whatever, use all different kinds of cameras. So don't feel like you have to invest a ton of money in order to get subscribers or anything. Next thing I wanted to touch on, kind of transitioning from that, is make sure you're doing this for the right reasons. Make sure you're doing this because you love books and you want to discuss books with other people. Don't do this because you want arcs. Don't do this because you want ins with publishing houses or anything like that, because people will see right through that. It's very obvious when you're just kind of not really enjoying yourself, and you won't like doing it if you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So make sure when you get into this that you're doing it for the right reasons, to meet people and everything else, because that'll show through in your videos that you're doing it because you enjoy it, not because you're trying to do it for different motives. Don't do it for the subscriber count, don't do it for free books, because honestly, I have 5,000 subscribers right now. I have never received an ARC from a big publishing house or anything. I've received like 2 from smaller indie authors that have self-published. I have never, at this point, filming right now, I have never received an ARC from a big publisher. So don't do it for the publishers. Everyone will know if you're doing it for the wrong reasons. My third tip is to really sit down and make some decisions about your channel. 1, what kind of content are you going to put out book related? So are you really big on reviews? Are you really big on tags? Are you really big on discussion videos? Kind of decide what you want to do and really do what you like watching. So do the videos that you enjoy watching, because it'll be easier for you to do those videos. So if you really like doing tag videos, do tag videos. If you really like watching reviews, do reviews. I think reviews are really important. I love doing reviews. But if you don't like doing reviews, you don't have to. You could have a whole channel on hauls if you wanted to. I don't recommend it because I like seeing some variety, and everybody else pretty much does too. But if you want to do just those kinds of videos, that's fine. And if you want to talk about stuff that's not related to books sometimes, that's fine too. So do whatever you like seeing, do the kind of videos that you like watching, and then make decisions regarding those. So for example, if you're going to do reviews, decide how you're going to do your reviews, decide how you're going to kind of organize them, and that way you kind of have some ideas for when you're reading a book, what you're going to talk about in your review. Some people go into reviews with notes, I go in with a very brief outline, some people wing it. Kind of decide what you're going to do and kind of get in your head a little bit organized and everything. You don't have to do this. Again, this is just something that I'm recommending you do. I think it makes things a ton easier. If you're just like a fly by the seat of your pants person, go ahead and try that out. That'll probably work better for you, but I think getting kind of organized and kind of like putting a game plan in your head for things is really effective. That same note, decide how often you are going to upload, and people have very different opinions on this as well, as with everything in this video, but decide when you're going to upload. I really like having a set schedule of I'm going to upload on these days. I upload 3 times a week, Wednesday, Saturday, and Monday, and my reviews always go up on Monday. That's what works for me. Decide what you want to do for you. Do you want to upload 1 day a week? Do you want to upload 2 days a week? I don't recommend uploading more than 3 days a week, except for like special occasions and stuff like Vlogmas and everything else, because then you just kind of get a little oversaturated, I think. One big tip that I saw in numerous videos before I even started was to not upload too much, because if you see somebody in your subscription feed every single day, you might just kind of be like, I can skip this video, and it just kind of waters everything down. Again, there are people that works for beautifully. Grace from Grace Helbig uploads daily, and she's doing great. So again, it varies, but my recommendation for BookTube and stuff like that is to just kind of stick to the a few times a week schedule. But make sure that you are uploading consistently. If you're just going to do 1 time a week, make sure you're uploading 1 time a week, and make sure people kind of know when to expect your videos and you're not gone for too long. Because even if you have like a really great excuse for being gone long, and accidents happen and things happen and that's fine. But even if you're like, man, I was so busy, I was so bogged down, people don't really hear that. They're just like, man, you weren't uploading. Not that they're going to say that to you, but just like, I didn't see your face for a really long time. And some people might unsubscribe for that. So you want to be putting up content very reliably. Find a upload schedule that works for you and stick to that, and it's kind of easier to make videos that way because you have a regular schedule with which you're going to put up videos, and that also helps you stick to that, because when you first start a channel you have a million ideas and you want to upload them all at once, but I'm telling you there will be a time that comes where you're like, I don't know what to upload. I have no idea what to upload. I have no idea what to do. So if you stockpile those things and kind of wait for those times to happen, be like, oh great, I have an idea and I haven't done it yet, let's do that now. I went out and bought a spiral notebook when I first started and wrote down everything. I wrote down tags that I was tagged in, I wrote down just ideas. I still do that, it's sitting right here. So I recommend doing that if you like kind of like the list kind of organization thing, but just make sure you kind of save some of the ideas you have, because there will be a time when your ideas will run dry and you'll be like, oh crap, what do I do? And if you upload all of those great ideas at once at the very beginning, you will look back on those videos and be disgusted by them because of how bad they are. Because that's my next tip. Just start uploading videos and practice. I started uploading videos just from the beginning. Every video that I filmed, I would edit and put up. I really liked my videos at the very beginning of my channel. If I go back now, I'm like, wow, that was super awkward. And it is for me to watch those videos. A lot of people say that. So your first videos aren't going to be your best videos. Nobody's first videos are their best videos. Nobody goes into this just being a master at it. So make sure, like I said, to upload at a slower rate, because otherwise you'll have all these great videos with like all these great ideas, but you'll be you at the beginning, the awkward you that's probably not talking loud enough, and that's not enunciating their words, and that's just being awkward and like playing with your hair, and it's just going to be awkward. So put videos up, practice, and the more that you put them up, the more you'll just get comfortable in front of the camera. When I turn my camera on, I pretty much forget that I'm talking to a camera. Now I don't, because I'm looking at it and talking to a camera. But typically speaking, it's like I don't even remember that I was talking to a camera earlier that day when I'm editing. I'm like, oh, that's right, I was in my room talking to a camera. But when you get to that point is when you start making really good videos, because you're not so like aware of how awkward you are. And that's the thing. Everybody is awkward at the beginning. So just practice, put more videos up, film on a regular basis so that you get used to it, and in no time at all you're going to be used to being in front of the camera, and you'll look back and be like, glad I'm not there anymore. And that goes along with my next tip, and one that I know is in every single one of these videos, but that's because it's true, and that is be yourself. And I mentioned this in my Q&A, and people were talking about it because I think it's the most important piece, honestly. Be yourself, act like yourself, don't act like you think a popular YouTuber, booktuber, vlogger, whatever would act, because it is so easy to see through. I mentioned this before, but I don't know how many times that I've gone to a new channel to check it out. You know, I do peruse new channels, I do try to find new channels on a very regular basis, and I don't know how many times I will go to a newer channel and see somebody acting like how they think a big-time booktuber would act, or copying something that a bigger booktuber does very naturally, or whatever. And it's the easiest way to just turn me off and make me exit from the video, because it's awkward to watch and it's so easy to see through it. Even if you don't think it's easy to see through it, even if you're not doing it on purpose, it's so kind of painful to watch. Like, I get secondhand embarrassed in situations like that, and that is the really easy way for that to happen. So don't do that. Act like yourself. If at the beginning you aren't acting like yourself and you're acting like somebody who is meeting a new group of people, that's fine, because that's what you're doing, and you will eventually get out of your shell. I used to sit in front of my window, so awkward, so quiet. I had a roommate at the time, and I was just like, hi guys, my name's Sam, and I'm gonna talk about this book. Like, it was really quiet. I'm like shouting at you now because I don't care. I don't care if my boyfriend hears me. I don't care if my neighbor hears me. It's not a big deal, but that will take time. So just get used to it. Act like yourself. Eventually, your sense of humor and your personality will come out, and that's perfect, and that's what you want. Don't try to act like anybody else. Don't try to be too quirky. It's a thing I see a lot on BookTube, which is why I'm putting that out specifically, but if you're kind of faking quirkiness, people can tell. Don't do that. If you are faking quirkiness, it's going to be awkward for you, and people can tell that it's awkward for you. So just don't do that. Be yourself, and people will love you. And that is my next tip. What is this hair doing on here? Where did you come from? Go away, friend. And that is my next tip, and again, another really important one. Make friends. The best and most rewarding thing about BookTube, in my opinion, is the friends that I have made. I was actually sitting on Voxer earlier today talking to Sarah Jane of The Book Life, who I mention in every video, and thinking about how I wouldn't have known this wonderful human being if I hadn't started BookTube. And that applies for tons of people. I could rattle off a ton right now, but I feel like that would just take too long. There are so many people that I have met because of BookTube. I am going to BEA this year, which is insane. And staying with people that I know through BookTube from around the country, which is insane. And I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy with the way that my life has gone and the friends that I have made because of BookTube. I'm telling you, because I didn't think this would happen when I started my channel. I was like, I'm not gonna make friends. I'm not that person. It's awkward for me to talk to people I don't know. That's just awkward. I probably won't make any friends at all. You'll make friends. If you're doing it right, you'll make friends. If you're being yourself, you'll make friends. I promise you, you will make friends. So that's why I definitely recommend reaching out to new booktubers as well. That's how I made the majority of my friends on BookTube. I reached out to people who were starting channels at the exact same time as me, and we kind of formed like a little group together, not in like a cliquey way, but in like we're all doing the same thing at the same time, we're all growing together, and we're all learning this crazy thing called BookTube and just kind of rolling with the punches and stuff. Those are the best people to kind of make friends with initially. So check out like the new booktuber tags, check out the underappreciated booktuber tags, comment on those videos. This is the biggest thing that I can tell you that you can do, like actively do, and that is comment on videos. Comment on every video. Make meaningful comments on videos. So what I'm saying is don't just comment like nice video, because that's just kind of a wash and people won't notice. But if you're watching a video and you really like what they said about a certain book, or you really agree with what they said about a certain book, or you watched a video and they mentioned a book that you really want to read now because of the review, to let people know that. Comment, talk to them like you're having a discussion. It may seem weird at first, but people love seeing those comments. I love seeing those comments. If you write me a paragraph, I will love it. I will eat it up. I will talk. Yes, I agree with you. I mean, I love those kinds of comments. So comment and just talk to people, and that is the best way to get your channel out there. I'm really, really against spamming people's channels and being like, hey, check out my channel, and that's all you write on their videos. Don't do that. That is so rude. And actually, those immediately go into the spam category in YouTube, and half the time I don't even see those comments because they're in the spam folder, because YouTube just gets rid of them. So you're really just wasting your time anyway. And I probably won't check out a channel that people are just like, hey, check out my channel, because I don't know anything about your channel if you say something like that. But if you comment on my videos and you have a name that looks like it's a booktube name, or you have like an icon or something, or you can usually tell a fellow booktuber. If you comment on my videos a couple of times, you make a nice meaningful comment, you say, I love this book too, or thank you so much for this review, it's really awesome, here's why, da 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 da, or here's what I thought of this book, whatever. I will click on your channel and I will go and check it out. That is how I found the majority of the channels that I subscribe to. If someone comments on my videos, I didn't know about them before, I will check out the channel. I do that multiple times a month, but I will go through my comments and see people that comment regularly or just have really nice comments, and I will check out the channels. And that's what a lot of people do. I hear a lot of booktubers do that. A lot of YouTubers do that. That is the best way to get to know people, not by just spamming, hey, check out my channel, because that's not effective, but actually having a conversation with people, treating people like people instead of just viewers or a subscriber count, and really getting to know people and having conversations and making friends. Another great thing about Friends is buddy reads. I love buddy reads, and I have done a ton of them with a ton of different people now, but buddy reads are a ton of fun. They are a way to read books that you want to read with people that you want to get to know, have discussions with them, talk with them, everything else. I really recommend finding people that have similar opinions to you, not the same opinion. Obviously, if you all the same opinion, that would be so boring. Make sure you do buddy reads with people that share similar opinions on books and share similar tastes in books, because then it's a really fun experience. You guys get to all like flail over books you really enjoy and discuss and just have long conversations into the night. Like, buddy reads are so much fun, and I enjoy them so much, and they're a great way to build friendships because you have these memories of these books that ripped your heart out. Grisha trilogy. Going along with the whole Friends thing, another really important fact is don't compare yourself to other channels. It's really hard when you first start out to kind of see the low subscriber count. I know that when I first started, I was checking my subscriber count all the time. Not because I wanted more subscribers for the sake of more subscribers, I just want more people to talk to. So I understand at the very beginning it's very hard to kind of look at your viewer count or your subscriber count and then look at your friends and you're just like, oh, what are they doing? Then I'm not. Don't do that. Don't do that. That is not good for anybody. There's no reason to compare yourself to other people, because it's not like there's a certain amount of success to be had in the world. There's not a little jar of like, this is the amount of success that people are allowed to have on YouTube, and this is how much, and we're gonna pour it out, and if this person gets more, then you can't get any. That's not how success works. That's not how YouTube subscriber counts work or anything. So don't think like, oh, this person has more than me and that's not fair. Like, no, it's fine if somebody has more than you. You're no less great than that person, and just be cool. Channels grow at different paces. There are times when subscriber counts just explode and times when you plateau for a while and you're not having subscribers at all, and that's fine. There's a really good quote, and I'm not sure who said it or if it's credited to anybody, but basically, flowers don't compare themselves to other flowers because they're all beautiful, and you guys are all beautiful, wonderful people. So don't compare yourself to other channels. Your channel's great. do you, do what you love doing, and don't worry about the subscriber count or who else is growing faster than you or anything, because it's not important. There is a way within your settings to turn off your subscriber count if you feel like it's really bothering you. You can actually turn off your subscriber count and then you can't even see it. I think you can see it still in like your analytics and stuff, but people can't see your subscriber count. If you feel like people are judging you for your low subscriber count or something, turn off the subscriber count. It's in your settings. You don't need to worry about it. Just get rid of it. And the last thing that I want to talk about is decide when you want to speak up and when you want to let things blow over. As with any group of people, as with any kind of YouTube community, there are occasionally things that come up, discussions that come up. I call them discussions, some other people call them drama. It can be either or. They're kind of interchangeable, honestly. But decide when something that comes up is important for you to comment on and for when it's not important to comment on, because these things come up multiple times a year. Every couple months, something will happen within the community, whether it's community-wide or a small part of the community or whatever, and there will be discussions. This happens on Twitter a lot because that's Twitter's nature. So decide when is an important time to step up and talk about it, and when's an important time to just be like, you know what? I'm not even gonna touch that, because that's not something I'm gonna deal with. And you can be all or nothing with that. You can decide, hey, I want to talk about stuff every time it comes up. I want to be really relevant. I want to make sure people like know my opinion on stuff. And if you're that kind of person, that's fine. Do that. Or you can be like, you know what? I'm never going to say anything. I'm going to just mind my own business, do my reviews, do my tag videos, do my hauls, whatever. And any kind of discussion that comes up, I don't want to do it. Or you can be kind of in the middle, which is kind of where I think I sit. And I do book discussions about things that I feel like are relevant to the book community. General drama, such a stupid word, but general drama. I'm not going to comment on everything that happens. There are people who don't like each other on BookTube, YouTube, in the world, and if that's the kind of case that's happening, I don't really need to talk about it. Not my business. But if there are discussions that are happening, such as like #BeCritical, or the different blogger-author controversies that come up, or I'm trying to think of another one, they happen every once in a while. Those are important to talk about because that kind of affects the entire book community, in my opinion. So that's what I choose to do. You don't have to comment on anything if you don't have to, any kind of book discussions. You don't have to do book chats if you don't want to. I love book chats. They're my favorite. But if you don't like doing them, don't do them. You don't have to comment on anything. It's fine. But if you do decide to do book chats or kind of comment on any kind of discussion that's happening, just be respectful. Remember to be respectful. And if you're respectful, then nobody should have a problem with you. And if they do, then they're probably not respectful. So just remember that when you're kind of getting into the whole discussion thing, because it is something that comes up. If we have like a social media platform, sometimes you feel the need to comment on something that affects your community, something that affects the book community, whatever, and that'll happen, and kind of decide where you're going to sit with that. Alright guys, that is it for my tips for now for new booktubers. I'm sure other things will come up in the future. I will update this if I want to do like a part 2 or whatever. If you guys have any kind of questions for me as far as new booktubers that I didn't really cover, comment them below and let me know. I'll either respond there or I'll do a second video at some point in the near future. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Let me know if you liked it, if you found them helpful. I hope they're helpful. They're helpful to me. This is what worked for me. So comment down below and let me know. So thank you guys again so much for getting me to 5,000 subscribers. I love you. I love you guys so much. I am so thankful to you guys, and my giveaway is coming soon, so look for that at the beginning of March because I'm going to get in the books at the end of February, so look out for that. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!